not to mention about 55,000 feet up. And that's just one of the amazing things about this $18 million aircraft that can move at about 350 knots, not to mention fly for about 32 hours up in the air. How they break up the plane is really interesting. The front part is where all the remote sensing equipment is. In other words, radar, LiDAR, things like that. Let me show you one of the readouts that they did back in 2012 during Hurricane Nadine. You see they flew this nice little Z pattern over this, just kind of back and forth here. And you'll notice these blue-red cylinders. And each one of those are measurements in the atmosphere of moisture or lack thereof. So the blue represents where we've got high moisture content, high RH, probably cloud cover. But look at that below where all that red is. That represents the dry air or the Saharan dust that we have seen so prevalent in these storms of this year. So that's just from the LiDAR. That's one piece of remote sensing equipment. Back here is where they carry all the dropsondes. They can carry as many as 88 dropsondes up into the back belly of this thing. It almost looks like kind of a Coke machine dispenser. And believe it or not, guys, these things cost about $1,000 a piece. Believe it or not, and they can drop from 55,000 feet. And think of the data we can get as those drop through that column of air. So just incredible data that might someday give us a hint as to when a storm is going to intensify or not. Right now, we're just not good with that kind of data. Well, today, the mission here at Wallops was to go out and fly 22 hours into Gabrielle. All right, and that plane took off at 10 o'clock. You can see it right here. Beautiful day for flying. Bank left off to the east and headed out over the ocean. But about 10:40, only 40 minutes after the flight, we heard word of a problem, and the plane had to come back. Well, here's NASA scientist Paul Newman to tell us more.
Well, we had a little problem with the aircraft. We have these navigation systems. We have 4 of them, so we have redundant systems, so we always know where the plane is. It's very critical. The plane has got to land very precisely on a runway. We want to know exactly where it is within a small distance all the time. So we had one of them fail today. We could have continued the flight, but just to be perfectly safe and by the rules, we have to come back and repair that system, and we'll be able to fly tomorrow.
Which they have done right here in this hangar. They will be flying that same mission tomorrow, leaving at 10, hopefully 22 hours out in Gabrielle. And Chris, talk about a great track record. Over the million square miles that they've already flown with these drones, only 3 times have they had to scrub a mission. That's pretty doggone good. Back to you.
Storm Tracker Jim Cantori reporting from the coast of Virginia. Thank you very much for that. And in about 20 minutes, Jim will talk with Senior Hurricane Specialist Brian Norcross about the importance of those drone missions. Kim?
And what goes up must